Hey everybody, hope you're doing excellent and that you're having a great week. I wanted to kick off this week on this Monday Mentor. As we head into the next 12 months, everybody's probably asking the questions, and including yourself, that you would like, how can this next 12 months be different than the last 12 months? How can the next 12 months be more significant, more impact, more of life change, working on those things that you love to do more? And having more of an enriched life, having more happiness, having more balance, having more structure. Hey, I get it. I was there and have continued to work a plan that I've put into place in terms of structure and boundaries on myself, my time, my talent, and my money. And I just want to kind of share some things with what's going to help make, what are the key components to making the next 12 months really, really matter for you. So I'd start with the next section of questions that I would have for you. Do you feel like you're on a loss for time outside of your career? Do you feel like your career is totally running you? That literally all you're doing is working. Work has fully consumed everything. Some of us, including myself, I used to be a person that found my identity 100% in what I did for a living. I wanted to be a good provider. I spent 27 years doing that, having started my business on a bike, going door to door on my art and selling my art door to door as an entrepreneur at a young age at 16. And I get that. It can be a total hamster wheel of wanting to be surviving and successful and to constantly be chasing the dollar to provide for our families. And, I fell into that. I get that. I came from a divorced home and a background that really put me in a position to have to learn those traits early on. But it got the best of me because I became an overachiever. And I got to the point where I was reaching burnout at a very young age. So I had to get some things in place, and I had to get some key components to my life that set me up for true success and significance. So here's a couple of things that I know that are kind of like the pain points, and I'll go back to them. Do you feel like you're out of time? Do you feel like you don't have enough time? Do you feel that again your career is getting the best of you? Do you feel like your kids are getting your seconds? They're not getting your first fruits. They're not getting you. Is technology running your life? Are you to a point where, yes, you would love to be doing your dream job, but you don't even have time to carve that out because you're just trying to make ends meet and make things happen with your career, providing for your family. You could be a student that is completely paralyzed with the idea of what's to come next. Am I wasting my money on education, and do I need to have a piece of paper to do what I love the most and really what I want to do in life? These are great questions. I've ran into more people in the last 2 weeks that are saying that they do not want their 2016 to be anywhere close to what 2015 was. They're fed up. They're sick and tired of staying in the same rut and every December being the same. And I completely understand that. I remember about 10, 12 years ago, I hated the holidays because right after Christmas and the excitement of Christmas, it was pretty much crying on the floor of the bathroom, paralyzed in fear as to what's next year going to look like. I have no idea how to determine what our income is going to be or how many projects I'm going to sell. Will things work out? Will life be better than it was the previous 12 months? So I completely understand. So I want to give you just some points that I think are going to be crucial to setting you up for success in those things that you might want to consider, and then provide a solution at the very end in terms of what that actually looks like and how that could come into your life. So I just thought I'd take today, being that the next 12 months could be the most important 12 months of your life, and they can be. You're going to need some key ingredients into that recipe for success. And when I talk about the word success, I'm not talking about it in relationship to just being money. Money is nothing but a tool to be used, but there is no in terms of personal identity found in money. I found that out the hard way. So I just want to encourage you on that. If you're chasing the almighty dollar, you're going to hit a dead end every single time, and you've created a ceiling of complexity for yourself that's going to continue to be where you're butting up against that ceiling. You're going to wonder why you're not having any breakthrough. So here's what they look like. First of all, step number one, you got to know yourself. Is there anybody in your life speaking into your life, and are you doing any digging on finding out and investing in yourself in terms of your true identity, who you are, what you're made to do, and a plan of how that you're going to do it? If you're not doing that, you're going to keep getting the same results. So if you like what you're getting so far in life, if you love these results that you're getting, keep doing exactly what you're doing. If you feel like you're too slow, maybe you might want to consider these. If you feel like you're burnt out and you've run out of options, hey, there could be some identity issues there, because I believe we have no business building a brand. We have no business building our business. We have no business building an incredible life or going after that without knowing who we truly are, without truly understanding what our heart is, what our identity is, what our true self is, and building the foundation and setting that foundation in place to then build an amazing life on that. So first thing I would say is, do you know yourself? And do you have a firm grasp on who you are, what you're supposed to do, and how you're supposed to do it? A couple of the things that you could ask yourself is, do you know what your top 5 strengths are? Do you know what you have to offer? Do you know what you're genius at and what you're terrible at? Can you answer with 100% confidence when you walk into a room? I know exactly who I am and why I'm here and what I had to contribute and what I shouldn't be doing. Do your friends and your family around you know exactly what your expertise is and what you can bring to the table? Not just with your craft, your ability, but with you in terms of what you have in your head, your strategies and your gifting and your heart. I might be able to do art as a living and be able to do some very cool creative things, but really where my expertise reigns is in my vision and being able to help folks. And so I would ask for you to consider that. Do you know yourself, and do you have that firm foundation laid to where you know who you are, what you're supposed to do, and how you're supposed to do it? Second thing I would go into is, do you even have a plan? Is everything measurable? I really pride myself on being able to have a plan going into each year, knowing and pretty much predicting on paper and on a board, a whiteboard, being able to say, hey, here's where we're headed. Here's the likelihood of that. Here's the probability of it. Here's the opportunities that we have in place. And here's how we're going to execute that. And what I mean about this is it goes kind of in the next phase, is not only knowing yourself, not only having a plan, but the structure of your calendar. Do you own your calendar, or does your calendar own you? I would even be able to say, is a calendar even in your life? Most folks get on a calendar train because their kids' school makes and forces them to get on it. But in terms of you personally, in terms of your family, in terms of your time with your talent, in terms of your career, in terms of your hobbies, in terms of your family, hanging out with your kids, best days with your kids, date nights with your spouse, do you have these in place, and is this on the calendar? And can you pretty much tell me, or tell your family and your friends and others that are around you, that you own your calendar and you own your life? Or is life running you? Another thing I want to ask you in terms of is, the terminology my mentor taught me about this, it has nothing to do with time management. It has everything to do with time mastery. Have you mastered your time? We all have the same amount of hours in every single week, but very rarely are people managing, meaning governing it themselves. They are in charge of their calendar. They're in charge of their life. Most folks are saying that their career owns them. And that's another question that I want to ask you. Does your career own you, or have you learned self-disciplined ways in order to maybe put a dream job alongside your career and carving out the time with that without forsaking your family, without forsaking your career, and without forsaking your marriage? So another thing that I want to talk to you about is when it comes to your time mastery, when you're looking at that with your forecasting for 2016, do you have a good grip on that in terms of how to structure and organize everything from, if you are building your brand or you're building a small business or wanting to build some new projects, do you have those things forecasted and have a plan for your blogging, how to do your blogging, how to build a site, how to do the marketing, how to do the pricing, how to pick which images you should paint, how to pick which books you should write, how to know what kind of food you should cook and which menu you should do for your pop-up shop. Do you have anybody that's helping you with that? Do you have somebody speaking into your life? The first thing was knowing yourself, having a plan, better structure with your calendar, owning your time. The fourth one is self-discipline. Do you have anybody in the area, that are speaking into the specific areas of your life in terms of structuring disciplines in your life like a muscle, like building them like a muscle, exercising self-discipline as a muscle with that accountability. The fifth one is having a guide and having a mentor. If you do not have a mentor and if you do not have a guide, if you're climbing this Mount Everest all by yourself, hoping your way up to the top, trying to figure it out, wondering why you keep backsliding, wondering why you keep miscalculating the weather, miscalculating when you should go, when you should not go, etc. It's because you don't have a guide, and most likely you're following yourself. I did it for a lot of years, and it was like, aimlessly wandering in the wilderness, and that can be trouble. And I just want to encourage you on that. Make sure you have a mentor. Make sure you have somebody that can speak into your life, that you can be honest with, and that you can have that back and forth with 100% on being vulnerable, on discussing your blind spots. But also the great thing about a mentor is they see something in you that you don't see in yourself, and where you are headed and what the possibilities are. So most of the time, you'll have a pretty good idea about yourself until somebody else shows up. And when you have a mentor that's down the road ahead of you on the journey and can tell you, hey, here's the blind spots, but also here's the hidden value on how you can be optimized for your true authentic self and how you're going to be able to have impact on your life. That is priceless. So the question would be, for setting you up for success for this year, do you have a mentor? And the fifth thing, do you have a community? If you want to go really fast in life, go alone. If you want to go far, you have to go together. And that's not just for your mentor. Your mentor is kind of like the one imparting this wisdom upon you. But the wisdom does not take root in your life. It's just knowledge. You'll have books and books and books and videos and videos and videos. But until it's implemented and taken action on your life, it is not going to become wise. You are not going to become a wise person by having knowledge, by just knowing. Knowing is not the same for doing. And until you start doing and implementing it, it's not going to take root in your life. One of the best ways you can do that, even though you've got the wisdom from your mentor, is by implementing it through a community. If you do not have a community of like-minded individuals that are doing the same race that you're doing, imagine training for a marathon. Do you want to go train by yourself? Or would you rather go with others so that you could see what it's like to run at a different pace? Maybe it's great to run at a pace that's greater than stretching you of where you could go, to where you're not just being left back in the pack of the slower pace or the status quo of where everybody else is at. But I do want to encourage you. Knowledge is kind of like a gym membership. You might be able to have your gym membership. You might even show up and just kind of hang out, but that doesn't mean that you're actually lifting and going to get the fruit and the benefit of having that membership. The same thing with running a marathon. You might have the bib number. You might have your great shoes picked out and the great race picked out. But standing on the sidelines and cheering for others is not the same as being in the game. I want to really encourage you to take into consideration the idea of what it might look like that 26, the years to come, you might be able to look back on these 12 months, and it's an entirely different 12 months for your life. What would it look like? What would you like the end of next year, 12 months from now, to look like for yourself? These are questions that I would ask you to really consider. Do you know yourself? Do you have a plan? Structuring of your calendar, owning and mastering your time. Do you have self-discipline? And why do you have self-discipline? Your self-discipline is completely based on why you're doing everything, and that's all based on your identity. Have you found a way to do that? Having a guide and a mentor. Do you have a mentor in your life speaking to you that you have access to be able to pour into you? Do you have a community? Do you have a community that you can run in, share ideas, do life in collaboration, and benefit from a rising tide that raises all ships? Okay? So, I want to leave that with you, but I will tell you I'm not going to leave you hanging. I am going to give you a solution. That's something to consider, and that is Noah University, which is my online mentorship. That if you are having some struggles, take this into consideration. Watch my new video on noahuniversity.com. And maybe take a look at that video, because it's just one of many videos that I've had, but I've got that up there for right now, which is building your dream life alongside of your career. And really what that looks like. So this video, I just wanted you to be able to have those thought-provoking questions to take into consideration what you're going to need to build a successful and significant year, not just based on money, but significance. And that'd be something that you'd really want to consider, is watching those videos, taking kind of a look at what that platform and what that might be in terms of a solution for you, so that you're going to have different results. And I'll go back to the very beginning. I'll bring this full circle. The pain points that most folks are coming to me with is, I'm out of time. I don't have time for my family. My kids are getting seconds. They're not getting my first. I'm not doing what I truly love. I feel trapped. I'm not able to get out of the rut of just working a career. I don't know if this career has my heart in it. I make really good money, but my heart is not in this craft. Or they'll be saying, my heart's really in it, but I'm not making any money. How do I make those things connect? These are great questions. They're tough questions. These are great issues. And if you're asking yourself these kind of questions, hey, I commend you on that, because very few people are willing to go to the next level. And that's invest in themselves. Are you one of those folks that are willing to invest in themselves? You've probably been investing in a lot of others, your family, your best friends, and those around you, where they're getting a lot from you, but the fact is you feel like you're dying on the vine of not getting anything, not just in return, but you're not being fed and you're not getting poured into. Well, again, if that's something that you're looking for, the solution, I've worked on providing a solution because I needed that for myself, and that's with noahuniversity.com. You can check that out. But hey, I figured one of the best things I could do as your friend, and as we watch these videos, and I appreciate you doing that, take a look at that. And if that's a good fit for you, fantastic. You can sign up on the mailing list. Go ahead and enter your name, and you'll be added to the waiting list. We are going to be opening next month, and I'd love for you to be a part of our family and a part of our community. And you know what? You'd be able to start knowing that you're on the road, not only on the road to recovery, but I don't want to look back over my shoulder and just look at where I've been and what I've done and who I'm not. I don't want to try to fix myself. I don't want to try to fix what's broken on me, because most of the time, you guys, let me just end with this. Most of the time, you are going to spend a majority of your time trying to fix where you're broken. And what you're not focusing on is putting all the wood and fuel and fire on the areas of your life that you are incredible at. You're not capitalizing your true gifting on what you're a genius at. And putting all your focus on that. Let's not focus on where we're broken. Let's focus on where we're amazing. And let's ring that bell. Let's let all the other stuff fall away and just focus on what we do great, what our contribution to this world is, and how we can take that and leverage that to impact people. Because at the end of the day, I truly believe that's where you want to be. You want to work the least amount possible, doing what you love the most while making the most money possible, while in return, impacting as many people in your life as possible, starting with your own family and your kids. But you know what? Had I not cracked the code, had I not done this, had I not had mentors, had I not got a grip on my time and my talent and my calendar, had I not got a grip on a community, none of this would have happened. So I will tell you, it does work. And I'm living proof of it. I want freedom for you. I want freedom for your family and for your friends. And I want to see you live in that sweet spot. It is possible, but it's going to take some work. We got to go to the gym. We do got to lift. But we're going to do it together, and we're going to be in community together. So you can either think your way and hope your way through the next year and the next 12 months, or you can actually put some boundaries, parameters on yourself, invest in yourself, make some things happen, and get the results that you've always wanted. So dreaming isn't the same as doing. Don't mistake that. But give it some thought. Ask yourself those questions. Rewatch this video. Do me a favor, though. Share this video. That would mean the world to me, because there's somebody out there that needs this message of hope and needs this help. Share this video, and please leave a comment down below. Nothing means more to me than seeing your comments, because I know that you watched it. I just pray in blessings on your life and hope that you have an amazing, amazing next 12 months that really, really matter. Talk soon. See you later.